My name is Caitlin Pimentel. I am so excited to be here with you. We are chatting with Ilyssa Herrington, who is a wardrobe stylist, personal stylist, and I just think this is such an awesome topic because we are spending so much time at home right now, and a really great way to kind of go through your closets and start cleaning and spring cleaning, and just like really, I feel like with what Ilyssa does such a great job with is kind of just spreading a lot of like positive vibes and making sure like what you're wearing is bringing out the most confident and positive aspect. Oh, there she is. Hello, Ilyssa. Let's go ahead and bring her on. Let's get this work properly. Sometimes it doesn't. Either way, it'll be great. Let's see here. Oh, looks like it works.
Yay.
Hi, Ilyssa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It is so great to formally meet you in person, if you will. This is so awesome, Ilyssa. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I am so grateful for this little online land that allows me to make lovely online friends like you. And so it's nice to see you. We normally voice message back and forth. So
I know. I know. This is going to be so much fun. And I truly appreciate you being on What's Good at Gansett. Yes. Oh, and excuse for everyone who's looking in the background. We have a gym now in our living room. So, because it's just what it is at the moment. But how are you doing? How's everything going with you in New York?
Good. It's weird.
Weird.
Definitely strange. We have so we're in Brooklyn and we're in a neighborhood that there's a lot of green space and it feels somewhat normal. People are wearing masks and trying to keep the 6-foot distance. We're only going out to walk our dog at this point. But we went to our local grocery store, little co-op just in the neighborhood, and it was a 2 to 3 hour wait just to get in the door. And it's we're just okay, I guess we're gonna just do online delivery from here.
I guess we're not gonna stand in line. Wow, 2 to 3 hours. That's incredible.
It's just a neighborhood store. It's not even a large metropolis area. It's just for our neighborhood. So it's wild. Yeah.
That is insane. I really hope that all of this just settles and goes by very quickly. It's just, I'm really glad everyone's kind of doing their part in staying home. It absolutely sucks sometimes staying home, but the faster we all stay home, the more this can just move on and we can get back to normal life.
It's not the worst thing in the world. As much as it's so challenging some days, it's if your part is to stay in your home, we do what we got to do to make this go quicker. Yeah.
And it makes I just think I'm just so grateful for things like this because it's just a great way to connect and bring very just spread positive vibes and a great message to whoever is listening and who needs it. So I think especially with you, I think I found you through Isabella Silverio.
Yeah. Isabella.
Yeah, and you know what? Any person who she talks about or brings on her podcast, I'm it's got to be a great person. That you both of you are so great, and I was just so excited to chat with you because your message is so positive. It's so high vibe, and it just screams off of your page. And I just think for those, while this is a real estate based or celebrating what's good in Gansett, you may not be from Narragansett. I don't know, maybe you are, but you may not be from Narragansett. But I think the people in Narragansett in our community could just truly love your message and use it to help them during this time. And so I'm super excited to dive in. I'm so excited.
I'm so grateful for you. And I think it's no matter where we are, luckily right now we're able to use the online space to our to our benefit, to be able to connect with other people who are maybe in different areas because we're all in this together at this point. and we all need to share and spread that positivity and spread whatever resources we can to help each other out, because we're all doing the same thing. Yep.
Yeah, we're not out and about. We're all hanging out at home, and we need Ilyssa. So this is so Ilyssa, for those of us, or you, or those who are listening, coffee. Tell us like a little bit about yourself, like who you are, what you do, where you're from, type of thing.
Yeah. So I'm a personal stylist. I grew up in California. I was born in New York, grew up in California. I kind of got into fashion because I am a fourth generation in the fashion industry in my family. Wow. So I just kind of grew up in it. And I kind of found my way to what I do now, because I started off with editorial styling and working at publications and major brands and working with models, and that was fun. But I kind of had my own health journey that ended up happening and took me through my own kind of body acceptance and kind of threw me all over the map with weight and things like that. And so I really found a real passion for helping a lot of women with finding self-love again through their personal style, because I think it's just a great way to express who you are and feel most like yourself. So that's something I'm really passionate about, is feeling positive about yourself, and have that sense of self-kindness a little bit.
Oh, I love that so much, because before real estate and currently right now, I'm also like a golf fitness coach, and part of like, I think everyone has a story, and like part of my story just resonates so much with the, like, in regards to weight and just feeling confident, because I went through a slew of adrenal issues, and it just like really hit me hard as far as like emotionally. And I think seeing the weight fluctuate so much, and you start to compare, your confidence goes like up and down, and it takes a lot to get that back. And the one thing that is so cool is like when you feel like what you, it sounds, for the longest time, like it was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't talk about like outward appearance or clothing, but honestly, like when you feel like you look good, you just, or what you're wearing just truly represents who you are, or even just like what's in your house or what you decorate your home with. Totally. It just makes you feel so good. And that's why I was just so beyond excited to just like hear your story and how you got into this, and because it really is true, like it's a self-expression.
I had someone I was talking to privately say like, oh gosh, I feel kind of bad about like discussing and just kind of focusing on outward appearance, because it feels like it could be really shallow, and they felt like guilty about it. And I think of it more as like a sense of self-care. Like you've got to take care of yourself internally, and then if you don't feel like you, or you don't feel like the best version of you, and you start going down that like self-doubt and shame spiral, that like affects the rest of your life, because then you're not showing up as you should be with your family or your work or things like that. So I'm so grateful that you get it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's just it's a crazy, and even just going from like the fitness world where you can wear leggings and like whatever it is you want, and then you go to a different type of profession where you want to be how do I put it, like you want to be, not, you just want to feel and look professional, and have the person on the other side just be like, oh wow, I really trust this person with the biggest investment of probably of my life, and is this person showing up confidently? And I just think it's such a great, it ties in with everything, so it's so wild. So you first got, so you're fourth generation, which is so wild. That is so amazing. And you've been in fashion like your whole life. What kind of made you choose the online like space right now? It's very, very interesting.
What's so funny is, so when I started my business, I was in the Midwest at that point. And I was kind of thought that my business was going to be very like cookie cutter, like go to people's homes, declutter, do that, help them with their personal style, do personal shopping. And And then I just realized like something that I have done at every job that I've had is social media. And I really was like, this is my favorite part. I can impact people from all over. I can connect people from all over. And I just leaned into the social media side of things.
Love
and
that.
it's allowed me to like, I mean, everyone's on Zoom now. I was like, this is like, everyone's like on my page. This is great. I think it's so amazing to be able to connect with people from all over. It allows such a greater reach. And so when I like probably early into my business, I realized that if I do things digitally, it allows me to connect with so many more people and it gives me so many more opportunities. And I have loved being able to work with women from just everywhere on the map, and that's been so rewarding because it's like you get to have this perspective and make essentially friends all over. So
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, that's so cool. And like, so when you first, so let's say someone wants to work with you, right? And what typically are they feeling when they come to you? Are they just like, I don't know what my style is, or do they feel like disconnected from themselves, or like, and then they or they just don't feel comfortable in what they're wearing, or just doesn't really make them like pop, you know what I mean? Like how do they come to you, and then what is like your first step to like getting them to just be like, oh, okay, I'm in the right place, like it's all gonna be okay type of thing, you know what I mean?
That's such a wonderful question. I think that a lot of times when I talk to people, they assume that if someone hires a stylist that they must have terrible style. And that's beyond not true. Like, I think that one of my hundreds of clients that I've worked with, I can think of one that was like really needed outside help. Like,
being kind.
really, really, like someone who I would say like, oh yeah, that wasn't on their area of knowledge or passion. Most people that work with me are stylish women. Like, certainly not someone that'd be like, ooh, like, gosh, this really needs work. That's not my vibe. I'm not like, it's not like what not to wear and like tearing people apart. It's usually people come to me, a lot of women come to me when they are feeling like they've had a lot of body changes, like their weight has fluctuated and nothing fits them anymore. If they look in their closet and they realize they've got a closet full of things that don't feel like them, or that pieces don't really go together, or that they find themselves perpetually buying more things, but then they only style them a certain, like one way, the way that they purchased it, the way it was on the mannequin. So it's really about recognizing in yourself, not that you don't have style, you do have style, but it's like, okay, something isn't clicking where you're purchasing the wrong items, or you're not knowing how to style them to feel like yourself. So that's typically the starting point, or maybe weight changes, body changes, things like that. It's more of a sense of like they're ready to reconnect with who they want to show up as from here on out, versus like, not having a sense of style.
Oh my gosh, this is so cool. And this is honestly the first conversation I've ever had like this, where it's like, I'm just so grateful that you're here and we're kind of diving into this, because it's so fun. It's so fun to me to be able to just express yourself, but have the confidence that it all works, you know what I mean? Like, it all working. You brought up so many great points, like one, dealing with body fluctuations, and then the other thing, which is really interesting, is, when you say like, when someone feels like they're buying all these clothes, but they don't know how to, like, they just wear them once. So is there, with like, I guess my first question would be, I have so many questions, all of them are coming in my brain at once.
This is how you guys know it's like we're just chatting.
No, I love it.
We don't have a plan.
I know. So when it comes to working with a newer client, like you said, and they have body changes, what are, like, because we all can kind of think, like, when you think of body shapes and sizes, there's so many different sizes and shapes, but like, how do you recommend, like, if someone is just kind of, like the J. Crew pencil, like those jeans fit them well, or they're curvier, or they're on the plus side, or however you can, we kind of like know our bodies. What do you recommend for those different types of body types? Like, how do you know, like, oh, I shouldn't be wearing that? Like, you know what I mean?
So my take on this is slightly controversial. Um, is
That's
I
okay.
I kind of don't believe in the typical body type dressing. I
Love that.
went to Fashion Institute. I worked for major corporations and brands that pushed that like this. These are these body types and these are these shapes for this thing. And I think at the
Yeah.
core of it, the biggest thing and the thing that I start with all clients across the board is identifying what your personal style is and really clarifying what that vision is, because
Love that.
no matter what your body shape, as long as we understand what the aesthetic is and we understand what look we're going for, we can find the right fits, the right brand recommendations for jeans, the right,
Amazing.
all of those things. But it's like if you're, and the reason that people have a closet full of nothing to wear and nothing's cohesive is because that vision really isn't clear. So once you have a really clear idea of, and like if I'm asking the right questions to identify what their personal style is, once we have a sense of what that looks like,
Yeah.
once we have that vision, then it's like, okay, well, if you're curvy, and then we kind of problem solve, right? So once we've identified their personal style, let's say
Yeah.
it's someone who is really like really likes bohemian stuff, but they're curvier and maybe on the in between straight size and plus size, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Where that's kind of an area that's harder to find pieces, and they're struggling with that.
Yeah.
When you think of boho things, you think of really flowy, but how do you show off your shape? So then I would definitely start going, okay, what are the things we're struggling with, or finding the right jeans? And then I would recommend different brands that are perfect fit for if you're curvy, but in between like straight size and plus size. What
Yeah.
kind of patterns are we looking for? Colors that they feel good in?
Yeah.
And then like, how do we add that personality, like the bohemian elements of like a kimono robe jacket or crochet or cool jewelry or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I think it's more so about like who they are versus their shape, because also our shape changes. Like as you were saying, like your weight changed because of health things and adrenal fatigue and things. And when we go through our lives, like our bodies, though the society makes us feel like we should always stay a certain size.
Yes.
Like people have children, people have health issues, just metabolism changes. So by knowing yourself and knowing your style first and foremost, it makes you so much more adaptable. If your size changes, if you need to go out and buy new things, or if you just need to like edit through what you already own, especially like right now, finances are tighter. People aren't able to work. So having a clear vision for your wardrobe is actually going to save you more time and money in these kind of more challenging times.
Love that. Oh, I love that, Alyssa. So if you are, let's say you're someone right now who is like, okay, I don't know what my style is, help a girl out. Like, how do you even, like, what are some of the questions you think, oops, did I just totally turn my thing around? Yes, I swear I've done Instagram lives before. I was trying to say hello to, like, people hopping on.
Right.
Hello, everyone. But what would be, like, one of the first couple questions you would ask someone who's doesn't know maybe what their style is? Like, because you said like boho and you know, stuff like that. Like, how do you get to that conclusion? How do they get to that conclusion?
Yeah, my process is like a lot of, it's like a deep dive, but I'd say for if you're starting this journey on your own, I would say ask like, how do you want to be perceived? Like when it comes to like you in real estate, like you're aware of the fact that someone's working with you and making a big investment. So like if it's, I want to feel polished and professional, I want to be perceived as someone who is knowledgeable and things like that. Like, okay, what does that translate to when it comes to workwear? Like maybe it's polished silhouettes and things like that. I also think it's important to overload on inspiration too. So use Pinterest, use Instagram, save images, and go through after you've kind of like pinned your heart out or saved a lot of, go through magazines and
definitely going on right now.
Yeah. And then, but look for like those common threads. Like, are there common themes? Like, oh, I'm always drawn to these girls in maxi dresses, or I'm always drawn to lots of denim, or whatever it is, because I think a lot of times we go and we start pinning or start finding inspiration, or you go into a store and you get the shiny object syndrome where you walk in and you're like, oh, that's cute, that's cute, that's, I mean, like, it just happens. Or even shopping online, it happens. So by being able to look at a bigger picture of what things you're really inspired by, and then figuring out, okay, I see there are common themes here that I'm drawn to, and then can you recreate those outfits for yourself? Or is there something where like maybe the images that you're pinning when you wear those outfits, they don't feel like you, and you find that, oh, there's a disconnect there between what you're drawn to and what you feel good in. So trying to just draw those lines between, like, what do you like on other people? What do you like on yourself? Like, where does that kind of fit together? I say that's a good starting point.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. And in your opinion, like, what do you feel like, Ilyssa, like when someone has something on, let's say they pinned it, they're at home, they're shopping, and then they get these outfits, or they go, you know, online shopping or whatever, they try it on. How will they know what that feels like if they're like, whoa, like this is me? Like, what does that feel like? Like, is it how would you describe it? So they know, like, okay, I'm onto something. Here's maybe like a category that I think is good, so I can start looking for brands to look at.
That's a good question. I think that if you are, let's say right now, maybe you've purchased some things, maybe, and you're at home trying them on. I think that internally, if let's say you've looked at the Pinterest, right, you're learning for yourself what things you like, maybe on images and on other people. I think when you try them on, there's like an internal sense of like, this feels good, and I feel like my best self when I'm wearing this. On a good way to also think about it is think about the opposite, because for me, I'll give you an example. I'm someone, I really like neutrals. I like black, I like tan, I like neutral.
Yeah.
But people always complimented me when I would wear like jewel tone, like teal-y colors, whatever. I never felt like I always felt out of my skin when I was wearing that. I felt like I was wearing a costume or something. Like, it didn't feel, you know, like it was like,
this is Halloween right now.
I didn't like it. So even though people were giving me external compliments, I didn't feel like myself. So I think knowing when you feel not like yourself, and then when you feel very much like you're showing up as your best self and you feel confident, it's just like an internal calibration.
I like love that so much, because no one will truly, like, that is such a great point. You were getting external compliments, and naturally I feel like we have 3 dogs and they're about to eat right now, so you're gonna hear their food hitting the bowl.
Mine just like, he was like at my feet, and then he was like, you're not paying attention to me.
You're not paying attention to me. That work from home life. But what's really interesting is like what you said, that you feel like when you try that on, and people can just take like maybe mental note of that and be like, oh, okay, this feels really, I'm going to try not to turn my screen around again. This feels really good. Maybe this piece or this headband or this type of jewelry. And then how do people kind of know like what style that could be, not categorized by, but like, cause maybe when you go on Pinterest, like for me, I know like in our home, I just always found myself loving, you know, like the ocean and like blue tones and like coastal, but like cozy, and like you walk in, I just want to feel like warm, cozy, inspired, light, clean, you know what I mean? That type of, so, and I just happened to find out like a couple years ago, oh, okay, that's probably like coastal / I don't know, like minimal, whatever, kind of like you're in these like little categories, but that helps when you go into Pinterest and you are like, okay, I'm looking for like a new couch. Okay, let's look up, you know, such and such. How do you kind of know how to categorize your style so you can easily find other pieces?
That is the $1 million question. So,
all good.
Because I think that it's so, our brains like telling stories, right? Like that's how we function as humans. That's how we've always functioned. So if you can tell a story to yourself about what your style is, like I can like going through the home idea of like home style. Like when we had our home that we used to own before we moved, when we got the home, I was like, I'm so inspired by this, and I was pulling all these images. And for some reason, despite all of my Pinterest images having white walls, I decided to paint the entire inside of our house like mid-tone gray. And then I had like right off the bat when we bought the house, and everything, like I styled a certain way. And like a year in, I was like, oh, I hate it. Oh, this is not, this like doesn't make sense. So we had gone through the trouble of painting, like, you know, having painters come and paying for all that, like styling it a certain way, and it didn't feel right. And eventually we, painted it white, and we got the right vibe in there. But if you don't know what your style is, like for interiors, for example, you're going to waste time and money, and you're going to come home and it's not going to feel right? You're going to walk into your space and it's not going to feel minimal and cozy and bungalow. And like, if you don't have those words, like how do you create a space that does click and feel right? And the same thing goes for personal style. If you don't know the right words, you're going to start buying things that don't feel in alignment with the rest of your closet. You're going to keep purchasing the wrong things and wearing things that don't feel like you. So to find the right things, part of it is playing around, right? Like similar to you going, okay, I like minimal and I like blues and I like coastal. I'm really like paying attention to what makes you go like, ooh, yes, those are things that I like. It's the same thing with clothes. It's the same lesson I had to learn with my own home. Oh, you painted all white walls? Maybe you like white walls. Like,
maybe I like white walls.
Yeah.
But you never know.
So like paying attention to like, oh, I'm always wearing bright colors, but I actually never feel like myself in bright colors. Or I think I need to wear pencil skirts because that feels professional. But then you don't feel like yourself, and you actually hate how your body looks in pencil skirts, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Paying attention, those words will come to you, especially if you're utilizing tools like Pinterest. Like, if you don't know what those words are, like you were like, oh, I didn't know I was coastal until I kind of realized it. When you start pinning those things, the algorithm will work for you. It's going to start feeding you stuff that does feel like you.
Yeah.
So it might be that you'll start realizing, oh, all the pins say bohemian, or all the pins say classic style or minimal, or start searching for things, and whatever you're liking, it should push more back to you. So paying attention to those words that are popping back, and just, paying attention to what feels right for you. If the images you're liking are minimal or are bohemian or are classic or whatever, those are things to pay attention to, because that'll help you to mix and match the pieces together.
I think this is so helpful, Alyssa. I can't thank you enough. This is so helpful, and I think for anyone hopping on, you can apply. I love that you applied this and you kind of gave your own personal experience. Sorry, I'm trying to get the for those of you listening to the podcast, this will make sense, but all the writing is on your face. I'm trying to make it go away. But it's just so helpful when you're coming from the place of, filling your home with things that feel really good, and you walk in, you just feel at home, and then when you put on clothes, you're going to feel at home as well, and just feel really good. I absolutely love that. Do you, kind of switching gears here, do you have time for 2 more questions? Is that okay?
Yeah.
In regards to, your personal view of what's happening in 2020, as far as home fashion trends or interior design trends, or actual fashion trends, what do you kind of see, and what are you kind of loving right now?
I think for whatever trends it is, by the way, I'm going to preface this by saying take it or leave it, when it comes to all trends, because whatever feels like you, those will be the right purchases that you make.
Love
similar to your home things and wardrobe things. If there's a trend and it's not for you, skip it and save yourself the gray wall syndrome, basically. But I think that, so for spring 2020, something that we saw a lot of, runway wise, was suiting and really tailored pieces, and suiting shorts, and really interesting things which is not, I think, not necessarily a normal or a typical easy to wear trend. So I think when it comes to utilizing that trend and making it feel more wearable, it could be as simple as wearing a blazer or a structured dress, and kind of taking the idea of structure in. I think playing with color is always there's some really interesting combos of bright neon colors mixed with really neutral things, which for me as a neutral lover, I'm yes, pair it with a neutral. That makes me happy and my brain happy.
I know, because sometimes it's a little crazy going outside the box like that. I'm I don't know if I could wear a neon skirt. I don't know.
Totally. And I think especially, I'm so curious as to how this whole coronavirus thing, how that impacts, because I think right now everyone's okay, we're at home, we need to feel comfortable when it comes to comfortable in your own home. comfortable in your clothing. I think that it's going to be really interesting to see how there's like a ripple effect, because if you're buying things that are comfortable right now, like how is that going to play into our future life when this is all over and we're going back into a more normal society? So yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah. And you know what I loved? You posted just recently, like, an at-home athleisure, correct me if I'm using the wrong words that you used. It was like athleisure, but like comfy. But you basically styled like my favorite outfits with like a leather jacket, like leggings with leather jacket, or like a hoodie sweatshirt with a nice jean jacket. I think and I love the pants you were wearing. I'm really loving like the high-waisted pants, right? Just because of my shape, it just makes, I cannot wear low rise. I just don't like pulling on my pants all the time. It's just, I just can't even handle it. But you had these super cute, like,
they're like jogger pants. Yeah, they're like jogger pants, but they're like a work material, like a work pant material.
Yeah.
Best thing in the world, especially right now, because then you're like, oh, I'm wearing real pants. But they've got a stretchy waist.
I'm into that.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, but I love how you styled that. And I'll make sure when this goes on the podcast, or for those of you listening, that link will be in the show notes to check it out. It was so well done. I love how you try it on too. You're like so cute, and
you're so
high vibe. I love it.
All I can do is work with what I've already got in my wardrobe to try and explain things. So I'm just trying my best to explain, like, hey, you got to work with right now while we're working from home, work with the pieces that you've got in your regular wardrobe and the things you maybe have in your like lounge athletic wear stuff, and try and blend those worlds, because we just have to be comfortable while we're working right now.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I love, what's like your biggest piece of advice for wearing like one piece or multiple pieces, like multiple different times? Like how are you able to put like this to use multiple times is what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
so with any wardrobe, whether you want to do like the capsule wardrobe thing, or if you're just like, I am a maximalist and I like having lots of things, no problem. I think that the biggest thing is, can you wear an item more than one way, and like how many ways can you wear that item? So
how many ways?
Before you buy something, thinking about actually what's in your wardrobe and what you're going to style it with, and like, can you play tricks with it? Like, I have a pullover sweater similar to one you're wearing, like similar shape, and it's kind of flowy, and I typically, like, an easy way to wear it, like half tuck it into some jeans, great.
Love that look.
You can also, like, I put a belt around, like a thin belt up at my natural part of my waist, and I pulled it over, and then I made it look like a crop top over some like high-waisted pants. So it was like, how can I play tricks with it so people see it as something different than it is? And how can can I wear it over a skirt? Could I wear it like, so before you purchase something new, think, can you wear it multiple different ways? Can you style it different ways? Because then it's worth the money. You can justify a price point of saying like, hey, I'm going to get a lot of wear out of this. And then it's going to work more for you for your actual life, because it's going to go with things that you already own.
Oh, that's such a so many great like tips you have for us. And that actually brings me to the last question. The most important one is, girl, how can we work with you? Like, how can we find you? How can we pick your brain and support you during this crazy, crazy time, and just get all your wisdom for our home and fashion?
So grateful for you. So currently, because we're all stuck at home, and I know that, you know, sometimes, some days you might want to feel productive. So I have something called Style 101, which is like, if you're starting on your style journey, or even if I've had like past clients like who have already worked with me one-on-one, do this as like a refresher course. It's a great way to like go through your wardrobe, learn how to declutter like properly so it actually lasts, how to style, like styling tips and hacks and things on wearing things you already own, kind of how to assess everything that's already in your wardrobe and move forward with like clarity on your personal style. So that is typically $99 right now, because we're all stuck inside. I felt like, let's just make it a quarantine like better price. So it's $39 right now.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So good. It's jam packed. So you'll link whatever you can find on my social media. You'll click through it. Style 101.
I'll put the link in there. Yeah,
it's so handy. And like, if you're stuck at home right now, there are days where you are not going to want to feel productive, but on the days where you maybe do have that energy in you, this is a great thing. It's a video modules. It all walks you through it, and it's just me talking you through everything. So that one's a super helpful way. And then I also obviously do one-on-one with people. So if you are feeling like you need a little bit more feedback, a little bit more talking through like the body image side of things, or wondering for specific brand suggestions, DM me, and there's plenty of one-on-one kind of options that I have as well.
Oh, I am so excited. And I know I'll make sure to put the 3 links that we mentioned in the show notes when this goes onto a podcast. But I am just so grateful for your time, Ilyssa. Like, I cannot
I'm
thank you
grateful for
enough.
you. This was so fun.
This was so fun. So I just love that you just applied. You helped so many people, whether they're like either a first-time home buyer or they're renovating, or they just realize when they walk in, they're like, I just don't like my style, like with my clothes and what's in my house right now. I think it's so cool that all the things that you've given us for tactical tips are just, they're amazing, and they're just going to help for years to come. So thank you so much for your time.
I'm so grateful for you. I hope that you guys are staying home and staying safe, and your home looks beautiful and very coastal, and I love it.
Minus all the gym equipment. I just literally realized there's like a blue mat just hanging out on a basket over there. I didn't even realize that. Lovely. But thank you so much. And what was the last question I was going to ask you? Oh, have you visited Rhode Island or
no? And I'm like, as we've been messaging back and forth, I've been like, oh, I wish I could travel there. And then I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not traveling for a little bit, but
I mean, not for a little bit, but
eventually, definitely will.
When you come to visit, we
get a coffee.
we will do all the fun things together here. We'll have to show you all around Narragansett. That's for sure.
Please
that's
do.
For sure.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ilyssa, and
you.
We are so grateful for you, and I'm so excited that we were able to chat with you a little bit today.
This was so much fun. The social interaction was much needed, so thank you.
I know. Same. There's only so much gardening at this point I can do, but there's only so much. But you are the best, girl. I can't thank you enough, and you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye, guys.
Bye.